California born and she attended CSUN, and then she recently received her doctorate from East by CSU. She works for the California Department of Education. She currently works at Fremont, but she does serve the entire state of California, as always, on a personal and professional level. So welcome, Julie, and we look forward to your webinar. The floor is yours. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you so much for inviting me to participate in this. Before we get going, I did want to explain a few things and just kind of set an example of how I will be presenting today. I would like it to be interactive, but just to let you know, I am a white woman with my purple hair pulled back with a red scarf right now. And I am from the Bay Area. And I've noticed that I lived on stolen land, basically appropriated land from the Ohlone Indians. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with a PowerPoint. Okay, oh, let me fix one thing. Okay, great. So what exactly is California doing about language acquisition opportunities? So as stated earlier, I am Dr. Julie Rims-Morrow, and I work at California School for the Deaf Core, which is Curriculum Outreach Resources Education. My title is Director of Language and Instruction. I know it's a very long title, but I focus mainly on the birth to 5 language opportunities. Now, I'm just kind of curious what everyone here knows about what California system is doing for deaf infants and young children. So place it in the chat. If we could maybe get 1 or 2 comments, what do you know right now? Like, if you want to just add it to the chat. Okay, well, if no chat comments, there we are. Okay, I do see some comments now. Yes, so talking about Lead K, and I know that there are some Lead K efforts in California. They are leading in Lead K right now. Deaf Mentor Program, yes. If you have questions, please feel free to type them in the chat as well. So just starting with the coordinators, we have 2 coordinators right now, myself and then Sherry Ann Farina. And she is our principal investigator. And so the entire state actually has a grant that is with the EDI services. And so both of us are co-coordinators for California EDI. Is everyone able to see me okay? Am I spotlighted? I can't tell if I'm spotlighted or not. So, okay. Now, as you are already aware, all of this IDEA started back in 1986, and that is really also known as Part C. And it's working with infants and toddlers with disabilities. And that includes deaf infants and deaf toddlers. And so it's how do we lead this education? And the number one situation or issue that we're seeing with the Part C is language deprivation. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's language deprivation, and it is real. Let me show you this quick video. It does deal with Lead K. It partners with Convo and Niall DeMarco Foundation. Okay, there we go. Now, in 1998, because of concerns about language opportunities for deaf children, the deaf individuals here pushed Lead K in California to establish a bill, AB 2789. And this is where California became one of the first states to pass a universal newborn hearing screening legislation. Now, this was done by the deaf community, which was intentioned to really capitalize on the birth to 5 and grab those language opportunities for children early. Once this was passed, it became one of the, they left out deaf professionals and it became more of a focus in other areas. So because of that shift that happened, we created a new movement called California, not sure, it's for new infants. I can't remember exactly what the phrase is, but it was this fight after the newborn hearing screening test established services, but it still kind of left out some of the deaf. This is where this group of people created, the Lead K Convo and Niall DeMarco Foundation created that video. And so I do want us to watch this one now. Now, EHDI, Early Hearing Detection Intervention, also known as EDI. So they've passed the newborn hearing screening. They do that nationwide and within the state. However, we're missing that last part, that intervention part. So it seems like we're doing a good job at identifying deaf infants, but then the intervention lacks. And that's where the deaf community came in to fight against that and really push for intervention in providing language opportunities. And that's where Early Start comes into play. Now, in terms of the stakeholders, they kept doing what they could, but then they hit a brick wall. Around 2010, we had a lot of audiologists propose a surprise bill. And that bill gave audiologists the authority to consult with families of deaf infants regarding communication options. And they used the National Association for Hearing. And so they were talking about communication opportunities, and all of this was widespread in California, especially with school audiologists. And so that really was a brick wall that actually set us backwards. We had to sort of reinvent some things. And then that's when a bill came into play, 2072. And that's the California Academy of Audiology and Coalition of Option Schools. So we continued to fight for early start and intervention management. So we wanted to include 3 specific words in this bill. And so we, quote unquote, hijacked the bill. The 3 words that we wanted to implement, can you guess? So the audiologist was asking the government at this time, and they actually turned down our bill because of those 3 words. It was American Sign Language. They did not want to consult about the communication option of ASL. However, when we hijacked that bill and that bill was declined, that brought us to our next steps in terms of the deaf community and the organization of how we wanted to do all of this. That then Lead K changed from not just California stakeholders, but if you remember that long acronym, it changed over to Lead K, which was Language, Equity, and Acquisition for the Deaf Kids. And that was to get them ready. And it took several years to really prepare, write this bill, do some drafts and revisions, and then propose it to government. And that became Senate Bill 210. And that is what passed the Lead K law. And so that is part of our civil rights movement to really make a change in the EDI system.